Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It is probably a Tuesday. Rough guess. Des, A-Cold, and A-Cold, thank you very much for that sub. Welcome to tonight's stream. Hang on. Zia Nurzadeh. That's about as good as it's going to get. Sorry, dude. I butchered your name entirely, but welcome. Good evening. So tonight, don't worry about it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Tonight, we're carrying on with Ragnar. I did say after the last stream, we're going to get a little bit of work done off stream, which I've not been able to do. I've been given a private painting lesson to somebody on how to paint Necrons in a colour scheme that they're going to be painting their very cool looking Necron army in. So I haven't done any work on Ragnar. We will do a little bit of work tonight if we get time at the end of the stream, where I just show you how we finish off this goal, because you're very patiently waited last stream. We're going to base coat, wash it twice, and so on and so forth. But tonight it's all about this. All about painting that face. And the crooked grin, the eagle-eyed man that he is, has already noticed some of our very cool new commands that we've got here. We've always got the obvious ones. Exclamation point win, just off shot. Exclamation point mystery. Those are the two that you'll need to know if you want to hang around the stream for a while, because they're going to tell you all the correct information about how you could be winning minis painted by me or £50 hobby vouchers. And who does not want one of those? Who doesn't want one of those? We've now got exclamation point base. Exclamation point base is our next straw poll. So as you guys know, those that you were here last time, we are painting the Judicia, and we are painting the Scorpec Lord, not Scorpeth, I've been calling it the wrong word forever. Scorpec Lord and Judicia. They could have picked two easier names for someone that has brain damage. That's all I'm going to say there. But Scorpec Lord and the Judicia, we're painting them on release weekend. We know that the Judicia is an Ultramarine because there are a lot of you here that really want it painted as an Ultramarine. It was crazy. It was crazy. Like nearly a third of all people that voted wanted an Ultramarine. So next time you all bitch about GW putting out Ultramarines, remember, there's enough of them out there that want Ultramarines. It is what it is. That's Scorpec Lord. He's going to be painted like Gypsy Danger a la Pacific Rim, one of the greatest robot films ever. I love it. Absolutely love it. We are cancelling the apocalypse. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But we need to know how to base them. So, exclamation point base. Get yourself over to the straw poll over here. Bink. Where we've got 10 choices. You can choose as many as you want from this. Select all that apply. You could vote for all 10. If you all do that, I get the swing vote, so I get to choose how I want to base it, and that's totally fine by me. Now we're going to run this till Sunday evening, because I may need to do some more shopping. Exclamation point Tufts might be going to Rival Crafts and picking up some new bits and pieces. Who knows? Who knows? So the choices are snow and ice. I mean, we're going to do that on Raggy, so maybe not. Jungle, we did that on, obviously, our Nurgle dudes. That Imperial Fist guy we did as well. Mars Red Sand, it's kind of a classic 40k colour scheme for bases. Yellow Desert, because why not? All the sand. Rocky Mountains. Lava. Who doesn't love a good lava base, right? Demon World, that could be anything crazy. No one can predict how crazy the Demon World base could get. Marshland, not to be confused with Marshmallow Land, that is completely different. But Marshland, lots of water effects, lots of little grasses, things like that. Urban Jungle, so ruined kind of buildings, a little bit of overgrown, some barbed wire, that kind of thing in there. And then finally, Imperial Palace Marble. So I'm thinking some kind of regal looking marble effect on the bases for that one. So those are your 10 choices. Go and vote for as many as you want. Remember, we're going to do this all on stream, so there will be that tutorial effect. You'll be able to see exactly how we do it. So if there's something here you're thinking, actually, I've wanted to do that for my guys for a long time, go vote for that. Don't forget as well, exclamation point box, if you would like to win, not just one half of the box, plus that character painted by me that weekend, but the entire box, rulebook, minis, everything. Go to the Instagram post link there. Follow the instructions. You must follow the instructions, because if you don't and your name is drawn, we'll just redraw it. And that's going to be a sad day for you. Very sad day for you. But go there, check it out, do the things with the stuff. You could win that box. Right, enough about that. All about Raggy. Do you want to see the Necron? Here was one of 2 Necrons that we painted. You may recognize these from a Ghost Arc, which is to show the pupil, how to get that nice new funky Necron scheme that GW are doing without all the newfangled paints. Here's one that is actually finished, and dear God, does he look badass. Yes, bring back death marks, make them good. Not again, just for the first time ever. That's what we want. Alright. Faces. You guys know me. When we paint something and we're trying to get a really, really good effect on it, the one thing we're always going to do is go and get ourselves some reference material. So, we did a little bit of that earlier on. We're going to be painting Ragnar Blackmane. Well, let's paint Ragnar Lothbrok. Lothbrok? The dude from the Vikings show. This is what we're going to do. Except Ragnar Blackmane, as we're painting it by the GW box art, will have black hair, not this cool, dirty blonde look that we've got here. So this is how we're going to paint this dude. Now, the reason we've got some reference material is because if you break this guy down, it's not just here's some skin tone. You can't just go and grab your skin-colored paints and way, faces. It's not quite that simple. I need to pay really, really, really close attention to some of the colours that you see on this guy's face. So let's start around the neck region, because we've got no neck here, but we have got a bit of a chin, and that's where it's gonna start. If you were to take this image, put it into Photoshop, and then use a little dropper tool to examine the colour that is at the point just here under his neck, say, see a little bit of grey in there. Maybe a little bit of blue in there as well. You work up behind, like just below his ears, behind where his beard sort of stops. There's a little bit more of that red and blue kind of colour going in there. Get up into the cheeks. A little bit of red, a little bit pink, a little bit rosy. But as soon as you get to the highest points on the cheekbones, especially the forehead. Does anybody else see yellow? Now, some of that is the effect of the sun on this guy's face, but some of it is just a theory in art that your head can be banded into 3 separate layers, right? Male heads especially, because, you know, beards, stubble, and all that sort of stuff. You've generally got a blue line that goes across the bottom of your face. Covers your top lip, doesn't go up to your nose at all. But this section here generally is a little bit blue. This section here, where your cheeks get flushed, where you've got these areas around your nose. Look at his nose. Look right in at the bit where his nose meets the little part just before it gets to his padded cheek. There you've got some red. In the eyes, you've got a little bit of red. You've got a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue almost up here. But as a whole, this band of your face is usually kind of a red. And then the top part is usually a little bit yellow. Now, I'm usually, of course, bright pink most of the time because I'm having a lot of fun while we stream. So my face is useless to use as reference. But this is a very handsome man with a very stern, looking into the past kind of expression. Perfect for our Ragnar. So we'll be referring to this quite a lot, and at the end of doing the face, we're going to apply some washes to start giving it that 3-toned look. Not to paint stripes, but we're going to give it some of that kind of illusion. So let's go back to this. all we've done so far, we've obviously undercoated this black a while back. You can see we've got plenty of that black showing in here. I've just given it a light zenithal of white ink. And obviously right now it's blowing all of this out of proportion. If we just take away some of the background there, make it a little easier to see. We've started to establish some of our shadows. We've started to establish some of our highlights. This is a really good start. So if you have got an airbrush, great way to start painting faces, get the zenithal. If you don't, you could sketch this in by hand with a brush. So really just thin down some white paint, like really, really thin, to the point it's a glaze essentially. And you just start glazing in some of the areas that you want the highlight to be. So obviously the top of his forehead's the brightest part, his nose, cheekbones, a few of the little bits and pieces like that. You can see on this where the airbrush is being used, we've got some on his bottom lip as well. That's the sort of thing that would pick up the light. If you can't be asked to do that, then it's going to make your highlighting a little bit harder, but you could just layer up your highlights. But for this example, we're doing it with a zenithal or sketch style. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our mid-tone all over, Cadian flesh tone. Now, if we go back to our picture of Ragnar over here, you'll notice that while we've got yellow here and red here, a little bit of blue down here, Cryptic Chimera, 12 months, baby. 12 months, that's an anniversary. Let's get some love in the stream for this absolute beautiful human. Cheers, brother, much appreciated. But despite all of the different colours that we've got on there, it's predominantly a flesh tone. It's mostly pink with some extra bits in there. So that's where we're going to start with this. Now I've completely cleaned out my wet palette, brand new wet palette, because painting faces, you want to make sure you've got enough space to get all your right mixes in. You don't want to risk cross-contamination with another colour. So if you haven't got a lot of room on there, just start afresh. This is one of the focal points of the mini. So it's really, really important that you get it right. And this is why a lot of people panic when they're painting faces, but there's no need. There's no need. It's just the same as any other part of the mini. Dude, I'm doing great. Although I think WhatsApp's broken at the moment because I was in the middle of that really interesting discussion about charges. And I say it's interesting because I think I'm right. That's why it's interesting. And now none of the messages going through. It's really annoying. So we're going to be working with very, very thin paint throughout pretty much all of this evening. It's only when we get down to starting to do some really like sharp highlights on things like cheekbones and so on that we're going to change that up. But for now, everything is going to be a glaze. Mr. Brutal! How you doing, man? So we're going to ignore all of the hair, but for now, let's just glaze this in everywhere else. And because we've given ourselves that really nice set of values earlier on with our light and shadow, and that zenithal pre-shade that we did, we're already going to start getting an interesting looking face. So if you were in a rush, if you had, say, a lot of guardsmen to paint and, you know, faces were not something you wanted to practice on for that project, you could really just give everything a zenithal and then give it a quick pass of this and call it done after maybe a little bit of light washing. But gonna let it dry a sec, get it cure. The hair is on the face, Viking. It's a brush holder. But if we look at this for now, because of where that black has been left down here, where the zenithal highlight hasn't hit it so much, look at how we've got that kind of bluey grey kind of complexion, essentially. That's already giving him some of that stubble lines, right? This is what we were saying earlier on about having these tones in bands across the face. Let's speed this up, get a hair dryer going. Is it the fact that you think I'm right that means that we're wrong? All right. Second pass. Obviously, we still expect to have darker versions of this flesh tone in all of our shadows. We're not trying to get one completely smooth coat of this. When you're applying glazes, think of it as applying a filter. So when I was doing that private lesson last night, I was talking in terms of, imagine you have like a piece of colored plastic that you are placing between you and the Mini. It's going to affect the way you see it, right? By doing this and keeping this coat of paint so thin, you're basically doing that, but at a distance of no distance to the model. So you're changing your perception of it by applying this super, super thin layer. That's basically what glazing is. For those of you that are like, how do I make a glaze? Well, let's show you a little bit here. So I've got a tiny amount of paint. You can see that's mostly water, what we're playing with right now, right? Make sure you don't have too much of it on your brush. If you flood your brush, you'll flood the Mini. So just pick up what you need, and notice how the brush is easily able to pick that up, but it doesn't change its shape. Right? And then just pop that on the surface that you want to color. And that is essentially how to create and work with a glaze. Very simple. Obviously, bear in mind that paint is the thinnest paint you'll ever paint. Past that, it's basically dirty water out of your cup. It's the thinnest paint you'll ever paint with. You don't want to do that. That's a no. So just keep it nice and smooth. You'll be cool. So if you're doing power swords, if you're doing blends on armor panels, things like that, that's the kind of technique that you want to be using with your brush and with your paint, keeping that going. What's the question over charges then? All right, so let's try this guy down. We'll have a quick chat about that. This is an interesting one. So 9th edition, if you go, I had this open a minute ago, is it still open? Yes, to page 19 of the rules. Yes, we've quoted a page number, so you can tell this is going to go really well. Go to page 19 of the rules, and where it says charging with a unit. It says, if you declare multiple charges, then your charge roll must be sufficient that you are able to move into engagement range and remain in coherency of all units that you've declared the charge against. If not, the charge fails. Because it talks about how you roll your charge, you're on 2d6, and it says you can then move if the charge is successful, and that's the bit where it tells you about whether the charge is successful or not. If your 2d6 range that you have rolled is sufficient to get you within engagement range of all the units that you have declared charge against, and remain in coherency. Now, the key word there for me is that it says you must be able to reach those units. Not that you have to. So let me give you a situation where this may happen. We've got a Necron here, and we've got Ragnar's floating head here, and Ragnar's disembodied version, disenheaded version, wants to charge this and this. He wants to declare a charge against both. So he does, and he rolls a 12, because he's a beast. He does this, so we can collect his head. Kills his head, and he passes in 3 inches to this, and uses a fight twice stratagem. He can kill both. If you have to make a charge and have to be in engagement range of all the units you declared a charge against, then you can't declare a charge against both of those two things, because if you go there, you're out of engagement range. If you go there, you're out of engagement range, and therefore the charge will fail. So I think you can, because it says able, and that's the key word. And he says, read the rest of it, Jay, where it says you can then make your charge move. Well, like I said, that's the part. To make a charge move, that your charge roll must be sufficient that is able to end that movement unit coherency and with engagement range of a unit, without moving with engagement range of any enemy units that were not a target of its charge. If it is possible, charge successful, and the models in the unit make a charge move as to fill the above conditions. If this is impossible, charge fails. Now, it says here, if this is possible, then the charge is successful, and the models in the unit make a charge move so as to fulfill the above conditions. But the condition above is that you are able to, not that you have to. That's my point, and that's my question to the Hellstorm group. But WhatsApp has died, and we can't continue our discussion, which is really annoying. So I was having fun, having lots of fun. Okay, so here we go. Start wobbling. We've got a good base for Raggy, for his flesh tones. What we need to do now is we need to start establishing some shadows and start establishing some contrasting tones there. Then we'll start working on the highlights. And the reason I'm going to do it this way round is because obviously we want to highlight over some of the shadows. So if we're painting a shadow in around his eye here, for instance, we get some on the cheek, we want to be able to just cover that over with our next pass of paint. No, Andy, remember the above condition is that you must be able to end that move in unit coherency and within engagement range of every unit that was a target of its charge, not that you have to. Otherwise, another example is that you're charging from here, there's a unit in front of you that's screening, there's enough room for you to get your base through, and there's a unit behind them that you want to charge. You have to declare against these because you can't be within engagement range of them during your charge move. And that means that you can screen from charges again. It also means that you can't do things like flip belts, where you charge and jump over a unit to get to somewhere else. Fly keyword, that sort of thing. So there's a few holes in that. Sarah says, slap some googly eyes on it. If you can find me some that are small enough, done. But only if you can also create me some Rival Crafts eyelash style tufts. They got to be really small and in actual little semicircle lines. You've got to do it. So we're going to start working on our shadows, and we've got some Bugman's Glow. So if we compare this to Cadian Flesh Tone, there's enough of a colour difference in there. We're still keeping just about within our sort of pink range for his flesh. And if we pop back over to our picture here, this Bugman's Glow isn't too far off things like the shadow in his cheeks, the little bit around his eye, the bit of shadow around his neck and so on, where he's got a bit more of a red tint to his skin. See, that's the way I think about it as well. WhatsApp works for you, then that's it. WhatsApp is dead for me because I'm winning the argument. Fuck you, WhatsApp. How dare you? How dare you? You can do that. Do you want rainbow lashes? I mean, I think I'd look fantastic with rainbow lashes, don't you? I expect these all at mini scale with one of those little lash tongs, whatever they're called. Right, so as before, we're going to turn this into a glaze. So loads of water, a little bit of pigment. And because this is, I think, a base paint, yeah, Bugman's Glow is a base paint, it'll probably take a lot more thinning than before, but we need to get it to that glaze. Yeah. People have told me I'm wrong for most of my life, mate. Doesn't mean that they were always right. You know. Ninja Wolf, I'm afraid there is no song request anymore. Have you tried turning WhatsApp off and on again? I tried headbutting it. That's usually the same thing, right? Random question. What's a decent alternative for Iron Hand Steel? Every shop I went to today was sold out. I have no... Is Iron Hands a Games Workshop paint? It must be with that. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Right, let's start glazing this in. Now we're going to go in around the bottom of his jawline. And get in this gap between the front part of his, like where his mouth is, and the part of his cheek. And this is going to be one of those kind of streams where we basically push around a lot of very, very thin paint, and nothing really happens until suddenly, BAM! Everything happens at once. So getting all in around the bottom of his face, essentially. We're going to get in underneath the nose. Not on the nose, just underneath. Went away because the companies of Universal and I believe Time Warner essentially created some Twitch bots, or some bots rather, that scan Twitch constantly, and videos and clips, looking for music that bears rights that they own. and then automatically issues a DMCA claim. And so it was not worth the risk. There are actual artists, like song artists, not painting artists, on Twitch singing their own songs that are having DMCA things slapped against them. So, you know, it's what it is. Can do matching stick-on brows too? I thought it meant for you. Do you have a weekend secret? I got many weekend secrets, but none of them involve cross-dressing or makeup. I better say Jay's wrong because I don't want him turning his night charge into a game of pinball. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it doesn't matter for me. I've got no fight try stratagem for the army I play, mate. We play Crashed. Play Knights like a real man. None of this House Terran bullshit. Right, so you can see we're working a little bit of this into the eyes as well, just shading those down a little bit. We've got a little bit more darkness to go on those for sure. And we'll also pop a little bit of this into the big old scar that he's got. Clearly, this guy been in a bar fight or two. Had some of that Fenrisian ale go to his head. Unfortunately, it didn't leave the bottle before it went to his head, and therefore he got this cool scar. Chicks still dig scars in the 41st millennium. That's what we've worked out here. There you go. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of that contrast going through. And even with what we've got here, you can see there's a little yellowish tint to the top of his head. There's a little bit of a reddish blue to the very bottom where some of that black primer is still showing through our pre-shade. So it's not a completely pink face. This is the important part. Crooked grin. Every single time I saw those initials, YMCA went into my head. Peace out, Andy. Take it easy, man. There's no one job because it was all about song commands, and so there was kind of no point in leaving that one. Bryman89, thank you for that follow. Much appreciated, man. Now we're going to keep going with this just a little bit more on, a little bit more contrast with what we've got. And this is one of the things that puts a lot of people off glazing, but it's a really, really good technique for painting. It takes a lot of coats and it takes some time. However, because we're mixing our paint so much with water, which has got a lower evaporation point than medium and it evaporates quicker than medium, the paint dries really, really quite quickly. So you don't have to worry too much about leaving it for minutes in between each coat. And the tiny amount that we're actually putting down on the Mini, you can pretty much paint that bit of cheek. By the time you've done this bit, that first bit's almost completely dry. So not a lot of wait time. If you're batch painting stuff, then clearly you've got plenty of time to be getting on with those sorts of things. Now, quick thing to note. If you look at his forehead here, we've done this scar. We've kept this really dark on the inside part of that scar. Right? But he's got loads of other bits of texture on his forehead. And we haven't put any of this in between like his brow lines, his worry lines, whatever it is that is L'Oreal, not L'Oreal, what was the Oil of Olay? That's it. Hasn't sort of evened out for him. This is just going into the deepest recesses of anything that's saying north of his upper lip. Anything there, just a little bit of darkness here and there throughout to really emphasize a few areas on the Mini. Everything down here, this is kind of the mid-tone that we're aiming for. So if this is the new mid-tone at the bottom of his face, what are we going to use to shadow it with? Here's where we're going to get really, really crazy. Purple. This is Bad Bruise from P3. Now, obviously, Raggy is totally a Pantene boy. Is this another shampoo thing? That one I don't understand. That is shampoo, isn't it? Right. Talk to me about beard oil and suddenly I'm all over it, but, you know. So we've got a tiny bit of purple. Now what we're going to do on the palette so we don't get cross-contamination. You see we're separating everything. The water we've gone into here, happy to mix both of these in because it's all flesh-toned water. I'm going to take a small amount of this, pop it down there, grab some purple, and start mixing that in with this. You see there we've got that really, really dark, manky looking flesh tone. Well, that doesn't look like anything you'd actually paint your mini with whatsoever. But because we're using this to shade some of those recesses, it works really, really well. You see again, very, very, very thin. In fact, going to go slightly thinner than even that now. Let's get Raggy back. Did I see the commissar you put in the whip a few days ago? I believe so, mate. I think so. I flick through the whip probably once a day on average. Sometimes ever so slightly less. But obviously stream days, we look at the whip. But it's normally just from 9 o'clock. So anything that came in prior to that time, that day, since I last looked, I have usually missed. But I get most of it. The Johnsonator, how you doing, man? You reckon Ragnar's an Old Spice kind of guy? I reckon he could definitely be an Old Spice kind of guy. So here, we're starting to pick out some of the really deep recesses. So he's got this very deep recess down the side of his cheek there. So that's getting some of this purple and flesh tone mix. The Bugman's Glow. Same this side. It's kind of going on just in here. Now don't flood the mini at all. This is one of those things that it could take 5 passes to really get what you want to get out of this guy. But it's worth taking the time. This is, remember, the most important of all our focal points for this guy. He's got a chin butt. Sorry, mate, but you do. You have got a front face bum just there. So that goes on there. And then, before we finish on the bottom of the face and look at his eyes and stuff, we're going to just put a little line of this right at the very bottom of his jaw. Now, we are going to highlight some of this later on. But we're still establishing our shadows at the moment. So let's bring in a line here. There we go. Good. Too tired to hobby, so trawling YouTube and Twitch. Nice, mate. That's not a bad thing at all. I'm not going to put any on his scar up here, but we are going to start putting this into the eyes as well. So just in there. Right into that corner. And essentially what we're painting is this part, yeah? So above the eyeball, but below the line of your orbital, just under there. That's what we're painting a little bit just on the inside here. Trying to do that without poking my eye out and making sure I'm showing that on camera. It's going to go wrong in a bit. It's going to go wrong. Airfoil, absolutely not, mate. You said you finished your custodes, therefore, you know, you can carry on. Ready smokes Marlboro Reds? No way. No way. Definitely not. Ragnar, he and me going to be enjoying a stogie. That's definitely his way. But I bet he bites the caps off. No cigar scissors, no lightning claws, and you know, just and off he goes. Right, so we're starting to get some really, really dark shades in there. Now this already looks mostly like a face. Right? You could leave that as is. Teddy! Thanks for that follow, dude. Pipe man all the way. I don't know, mate. Don't know. He could be seen packing a bowl, let's be honest. Right. I don't think those recesses are quite dark enough, so we're going to give it another coat. I'm not going to add any more purple. Don't need to do that at all. We are just going to give it a little extra bit in some of these. Remember, we've still got highlights to do on this. This is still just that shadow layer. But we're keeping this real thin. We're painting with glazes. This is exactly what we want to be doing. All right, now it looks like he's got some of that stubble going on. Maybe a 3:30 p.m. shadow. Not quite 5 o'clock. Chewing tobacco. He's a sexual Tyrannosaurus. Yes, and I love you for that reference. Good man. Good man. I ain't got time to bleed. That's why there's no blood here with his scar. No time to bleed. Right. So now we start looking at shading the next part of his head. So we've done all the lower part, so up to the cheekbones. Now we've got to overlap that. So from about here upwards, now we can start adding in some red tones to the mini. So for that, we've got our Kador red base. This is from P3 as well. Super, super vibrant red color. Just like we did with the purple. I'm going to put a little dot of this on the base. Move some flesh tone over to that. He's dug in like an Alabama tick. Jesse Ventura was an absolute fucking legend. And the fact that he, an ex-wrestler, ex-actor, became governor of Minnesota is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He was in Demolition Man too. Not a lot of people know that. So we're mix in some of our red. Well, that's very, very strong pigment. We need a little bit more Bugman's Glow to help counteract that a bit. Okay, so I'll show you what we're working with once again. So that was the red. Mixed a little bit in. Nowhere near close enough to flesh. So we just took a little of that mix, brought it down with some Bugman's Glow again. And that's kind of what we want to be working with. Then we'll grab a little of that water. We'll start turning this into a glaze again. So super thin. Super, super, super thin. Just like how we airbrush, yeah? Everything is crazy, crazy thin. When you're doing glazes, same deal. A-Cold, that's just quality. It's not the fact that Maurice can spit acid, it's just that Ragnar chews Fenrisian tobacco. That's where it's at, clearly. Right, so here, again, tiny amount of paint on the brush. Brush has still got a pretty perfect tip to it. And we're still using that size 1, by the way, guys, as well. We haven't changed to a smaller brush. Probably won't. Start brushing that into these recesses around his cheek, around his nose, around his eye. Now it will start to look immediately like he's wearing a little bit of eyeliner if this goes on too heavily. But this is all going to start adding a bit more life into his face. And in a second, whilst this is drying, I'll show you on Ragnar Lothbrok how these colour schemes and this red goes into these areas. So leave that as is for a bit. Let that dry down a sec. And then if we pop over to here, take a look really, really close into the nose. I'll zoom in the webpage to make it a little easier. There we go. Look at that handsome lad. Look at his eyes. Okay, so you've got blue eyes, you've got the lower eyelid, and then just in around here, there's a few bits of red, just here and there. Then go down his face to just a bit where the corner of his nose just sort of touches the rest of his face. There's a little bit of red around there, and the underside of his nose as well. Lips, obviously, a little bit more red to them, just because lips. Now be careful doing that on a mini. I'm going to say it right now. Be very careful adding too much red to that kind of thing. Simply because your model will look like the Joker. Why so serious? You know, you've got to be careful of that one. But look at the areas where red starts coming out. Obviously around the ears, you've got a little bit just at the top of his beard where his cheeks are all starting to come together. Around the neck area as well, there's a little bit of red, but we've got more of that sort of darker bluey purple going on there as well. So on here, and I'm zoomed in maximum, unfortunately. Can't move the camera because it'll change the focus. But you can see we're now starting to build up some of that red in these areas. Exactly the same as it would be on there. Let's undo it. Oh, yes, he was in the Warcraft movie. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Chris Frozen! How you doing, brother? There's another man with a mohawk right there. Sort of. Almost. He's close. Was in Arrow 2. No, that wasn't Damien Dark. That was... Damien Dark was... oh, shit. I can't remember his name. Always like the character. Always like the guy that played him because he played a guy called Jay in a film called Walking Tall, where it was him against the Rock, and that was a great film. JC, evening dude. So your thoughts on the night FAQ points, etc. The desk rose because of how raging my clue was over that. Such a raging clue. Oh, we'll talk about that night stuff in a bit if you guys want. But suffice to say, I am one of the happiest bunnies right now. So we're making sure we get this little bit of recess just here where the eyes kind of go back. You got your cheeks sort of finish and your chrome dome starts coming down. Your little spike tuft quiff. You got faux hawk. Old false hawk. Damn it, that's got white on because I did the highlight. There you go. So we get a little bit more on his face. We're still not finished with our shading though. Just going to do a little bit more around the nose. So just a touch more. Crazy thin paint. This is the way. And you'll see how much of an effect this extremely thin red is having on the mini, right? JC with his sub. Frohawk. Yes. Frohawk. You trademark that shit, man, right now. A little around the mouth area, because obviously there'd be a tongue and everything else going on in there. You can actually see the tongue. They have molded that on, so there you go. Right, so now we're finished with the shading on the lower part of his face. The shading on the upper part of his face is kind of already there, but we're going to accentuate it just a little bit. This is a little bit of a secret weapon. This is about the only Games Workshop wash I use, because it's fucking brilliant. This is, honest to God, the best wash that they have. It's not Known Oil, it's not Agrax, it's not whatever any of the contrasty ones are like. Set from Sepia. This is gold dust. This is epic. Wolf Wraith, how you doing, man? That, my God. I put a post in my story. This guy painted Wolverine in the classic orange and brown color scheme suit, and I love it so much. You paint so many awesome things. I wish I could just sit there and paint what I wanted all the time, because I'd paint half of the stuff that you paint. Definitely. So definitely. Pixel Props, how you doing? And Ninja Wolf, it's okay, man. You can stay a mod. Don't abuse that power, you know. But also, it's good to see you again after a while, you know. Glad you're back, man. Shadowrunner-san, peace out. So, same as we've done with all of our other colours, we're turning this into a glaze. So we've got a wash, which is already really thin, and we're thinning it even more. So we'll show you here. This is the wash. That's kind of where we're at with just the wash. There. This is where we're at with how thin we've made it. Yeah? Again, we're going to use this as a filter. And add this over the mini, just so it's got a little bit of a tint to it. That's all. Got it done in one night. Motherfucker. That's some skill right there, mate. Right. What we're going to do now is we're going to shade all of this area. Now, earlier on, we talked about bands of colour on faces. And we said how there is that bluish band towards the bottom, that red band towards the mini, and then that yellow band up towards the top. What we're using Seraphim Sepia for, which is a little bit of a brown wash, it contains quite a lot of yellow. And so therefore it pushes us up towards the yellow part of the colour spectrum. If we now go back over to Ragnar over here, look at the top of his head where it starts meeting his hairline. Look at the reflections you're getting on his forehead, on his above eyebrows, the tops of his cheeks, the nose bone. I'm trying to work out the real name for that, but nose, just nose. Why not? There's yellow in there. Now, some of that is because it's been taken using natural light in the sun. The sun is obviously very yellow. The bridge! Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Some of it is because he's outdoors in the sun, let's be honest here, and that's going to give it a little bit of a yellow cast. It's a difference between me having the lights here on a warm light setting instead of on the cold light setting. Alright? But it's still something that happens in general. If you start walking down the high street looking at people's faces, you'll generally see a blue band here. That's their government issued face mask. Then it'll be a little bit more red and a little bit more yellow. So to give it one or two passes of that Seraphim Sepia, and that's just going to give our recesses we're going to leave here a little bit of that yellow cast to them. So when we start applying our highlights in a bit, we've still got that slightly yellowish tint to things. It's all about that glaze, obviously. So again, we're going to work in from here. We're going to work onto the cheeks as well, because everywhere we've already put our recessed shades, the reds, the purples that we've built into the mini here, none of that is going to get impacted by what we're laying down. It's so thin and it's so light in pigment that it won't change any of that very much whatsoever. But it will start to slowly blend in everything we've got going out the face. And also remember that we are brushing upwards every time, so the most yellow part of it, when we lift off our brush and leave that extra drop of paint, is at the top of his head, which would be the most yellow area there. Sadnar, no rating today, absolutely. Play some Alaris Terminators. Love Alaris Terminators. I think they're brilliant. I think they're absolutely brilliant. They're brilliant, brilliant models, and I love them. Need your expertise, though, and quite topical from what you're doing. Any suggestions on a good Space Wolf colour mix? Might be painting up rather a big Russ soon. So we did the traditional kind of ending up duck egg blue Space Wolf colour scheme, because that's what Peckish wanted. He's the guy that won this. Peckish Fox, great streamer here on Twitch. And so we went with Space Wolf colours. Give me 1 second. This one, blue, something, rust grey. Rust grey as our base, I think. Fenrisian grey, and then we used Celestra grey, I think, at the final point for our highlights. If you want to see that being done in the moment, exclamation point YouTube. I know you're a sub over there anyway. But for those of you who aren't, you can go there and you can watch all of how we've done Ragnar. The only thing I've done off camera is a little bit of work that was the same as we've already done on stream anyway. So you won't miss any part of how to paint Ragnar, exactly the same as we're doing it here. So now we've established our shadows. Every part of this is about as dark as it's going to be, apart from obviously the eyes. And again, that's a pretty passable face. The red's a little bit too much to leave as is. You'd need to just take away a little bit of that. But you could do just the shadows, a couple of minutes of some glazing, and again, if you're doing a unit of guard or a unit of marines or something along that sort of lines with that very human flesh tone, don't know why I pointed to myself, barely qualify. But you can do that and call it done, and it'll look great on the table. they look a lot more interesting than I did this and I put some Reichland flesh shade over it. Or I did the contrast Bobby G paint. Don't need either of those two things at all. We're just working in. We've got a little bit of Bugman's Glow, a little bit of purple, and a little bit of red. That's it. Now we start highlighting. And this brings us to our first problem, essentially. We've got Bugman's Glow as the predominant colour down here. We've then darkened that down, but we don't want Bugman's Glow to be our highlight colour for that. Because if Bugman's Glow is our highlight colour for it, then he's going to end up very ruddy faced, and we want him to still have that flesh tone. If we pop back over once again to our source material, actual Ragnar, you'll notice that there's plenty of places around his beard, because obviously it gets in the way of most of his face, like mine, that you've got some of that red, but there's also plenty of the normal pink-ish flesh tone going on. But, this is where it's a problem, if we just do Cadian flesh tone as our first highlight, it's too much of a jump. So the obvious solution there is to blend the two together. Maybe Ragnar is ready, maybe he likes his mead. Fenrisian ale, man. It's all about that, clearly. So we're going to start off with a mix, 50-50 of those two. And the reason we're going 50-50 is because we can just balance it up or down as we see fit. So on the palette, we've created a mix of those two just here. Just need to add in a little bit more Cadian flesh tone to bring that to that 50-50 mix. Get that nice and incorporated. That's looking pretty good as our first highlight pass. Now we're probably going to do anywhere up to 7 or 8 highlights. Sounds like a lot, but you know, you start to get into faces and it becomes just this, oh, I'm just going to do this, oh, I'm just going to do this, oh, I'm just going to do this tiny little one right here. And you end up doing that. So that's our first highlight pass. That's what we're going to start with. And if we end up going too far, we can darken it down a little bit with some of that Bugman's Glow. We can lighten it up a little bit if we need to with some more Cadian flesh tone. That's going to be our general progression. Now this, we're going to mix into not quite as thin a glaze as our last one, but we are still going to be glazing these highlights on because we want these transitions to be really smooth. We're not doing like a cel-shaded manga face or anything. We're doing a normal human being. So tiny amount of paint on the brush. Now the highlights are where you'd expect them to be. I'll tell you what, actually, before we do this, let's go and just talk quickly about face highlights. I want Sarah, see this? Rival Crash Torch. Gonna come in so handy. Or we could just use a studio light. Let's use a studio light. So, we've got the sun bright in the sky and clearly bright on my face. I have to move that light slightly. We turn to face the light. We've got obviously forehead is nice and highlighted. Tops of our cheeks, a little bit of a line down the cheek, a little bit of the flesh around here, but obviously the nose and this big fucking melon forehead of mine. Those are obviously the highlights. Now, if you're doing something where you've got like a light source, maybe you've got someone with a torch and it's off to one side, you see how that changes the highlights on the face. So just make sure that when you're painting something, you've considered your light source before you start doing the highlights. We're going to go for kind of a zenith. The sun is directly above. Now we can remove the horrible... That can stay up on the counter, thank you. We can move the horrible light source off my face and go back to barely seeing this horrible visage. And that's the first thing I'm going to do with our Ragnar. I'm going to start bringing out those main highlights. So again, that was the forehead, the brow line, the cheeks, and a little bit just down. Some of the areas around the bottom of his mouth, and obviously the nose. Top lip, mostly hidden, and also a little bit stubbly, somewhat like mine. So that's probably not going to get much of a highlight, if any. Just need to make a little bit more of that glaze up, because while we were talking, I used it on the brush. Touch more water. Here we go. This isn't quite as thin as how we were doing it for our just getting the recesses, because we need a little bit more control. The other option you've got, rather than using water to make these glazes and to thin the paint that way, is using something like Flow Improver or any kind of medium. So if you really love your Games Workshop paints and you're tied into those, you've got the Lamian medium. But Flow Improver is kind of the same thing and does pretty much exactly the same job and is much, much cheaper. So definitely I would suggest that if you're looking to try it out. So highlights. Glazing them in on the tops of his cheeks. This bit that goes just down from the cheek. We'll do a little bit just this side as well, where it sort of interacts with his sideburns he's got going on. But we're really just looking to retain this dark shadow, that bit right in between the muscles in his cheek. On the lower side of the face, I'm going to highlight in around the jaw. So you get a little bit of that chin. Just a touch, not a lot. But it's mostly that kind of, that bit. This is mirrored, so it's back to front. So it's not looking in the mirror, because this is my right hand and it shows left on the screen. I'm dyslexic, so left and right I mix up a lot. So when I do silly things in front of that camera, that's mostly the culprit. Mostly. Sometimes. Let's just knock that light down a bit as well, so you're not getting completely blinded. So again, bring that highlight in. Top of his cheek. That bit further down. Chin. We'll get the lip. Don't give me lip, boy. And we'll concentrate on this side of the face. We're going to do a little bit just here on his snarl, but only because we're going to just redact some of the red that we put down earlier on. So by doing that, we're just forcing the red to just be within that kind of recess. So even on my sort of very cheeky face, that little recess here and just in and around the nose. You can put mostly in air quotes all you want. You can blame it on the fact that I'm mostly a pleb. But that's genuinely the reason, man. It confuses me because it's back to front and it's not mirrored. And my brain can't handle that. And that's on a normal day. Today, I've had a great day today, actually. I have had a really, really good day. I'm so buzzing about today. For a while, I've been looking into coding to do with automation for my job. And I finally made a bit of a crack at it today. I had a bit of a breakthrough. I managed to correct something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And I'm so just jazzed about that. But it has taken up most of my brain power for the day. Like, the ration ran out at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I saved the mindless job that I still had to do this afternoon, which was to just change the email addresses on our test accounts. It's fucking boring. And I haven't learned enough automation to be able to automate that part yet. But just to keep the naming convention, so I had to change the email address on 30 different accounts. And that's mind-numbing. So we went from using all of the brain to using none of the brain. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for my head. Cake Fisk! How you doing, man? Right. So even though we're using such thin paint, you can see it's still having an effect. And we're still using that size 1 brush. So this comes down to what we say all the damn time here. Every single time you're painting a mini. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be painting base rims for all I care. Every single time your brush touches the mini, you learn something. Tiny, tiny, infinitesimal sized speck of knowledge gets put into your brain. Do that 1,000 times, you'll learn this much. Do it 10,000 times, you'll learn this much. Do it 10 million times, bam, you know. I spent the day cutting 4,000 Domino's window vinyls. That's mind-numbing AF. And I bet you really want a pizza. Even if it is Domino's, which is barely pizza. So on the nose, we're leaving that little bit of red just around there. We're not touching that with our highlight glaze. We're leaving that in there. You can hardly see it. But it's one of those, it's like garlic in cooking, right? If it's not there, you notice something's not quite right. If it's there too much, you know. If it's just right, you don't notice it. It just feels and tastes right. Got an email midway through cutting from there through my phone. Nice. Was the email, how's those decals doing? Fuck that noise. Right, because we're glazing, we get the ability to do it again, all over again, with the same colour, and it still has an effect. Farciars! How you doing, man? So this time, though, we're going to contrast... Blah, 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 blah. Blah. This time, we're going to contain ourselves to just the more prominent highlights. So that line... just there on the downside of his cheek. This line here at the top of his cheekbone. Obviously, get the nose while we're there. We'll do a little bit more on this upper lip. Generally speaking, on a miniature, the highlights go from not many highlights at the bottom to all the highlights at the top, right? Imagine a face is just a small part of a miniature, so it's less highlight here, more highlight here, but these are still important. My blind, where did clip search go? I don't know. A lot of the clips died. We had to remove them. I had to delete all the clips, like literally all the clips, because they would have contained songs that were maybe like the Foo Fighters or something that obviously we'd have been taken down over. So a lot of our older stuff just got completely removed. So all the clips, all the VODs, you name it, it was done. It's a shame, man. But we enjoyed that time while it lasted, and we love listening to the music you all. And one day, when I make it and I'm rich and famous, I'll just buy a music license. We can all sit here chilling to the foods again. Get the Queen on in the background. I don't mean Lizzie, I mean, you know. We are the champions. I can't sing any more from this song, or I'll get taken down. The friends. You've come to judge me. It's Jamie and... Dun dun dun. It's the Petters. It's okay, dude. I am here to be judged. This is what the internet is for, right? Judging people that you don't actually know in real life. And for no reason. Although I'm pretty sure I give people reason to judge me, but fuck them. So, little highlights. Most of them kept around this kind of area for now. A little bit on the nose, obviously, a little bit on that top lip, but again, within this band. And every time we do our next highlight, we just sort of move up a band and work to there, and then it'll be like from here to here, and so on. But what we don't want to do is do the same highlight all over, because currently this highlight is a mixture of Bugman's Glow and Cadian Flesh Tone, and that's got no business up here on his forehead. At all. But on all these areas, we're good. Cool. So that's enough with that highlight. Now I'm going to move up a notch. So that was a mixture of Cadian Flesh Tone and that Bugman's Glow. Bugman's Glow. So now we just add in more Cadian Flesh Tone. So pick up some more of that on the palette. And start getting our mix. So this time we're going to go about 50-50 Cadian Flesh Tone with the mix that we've just laid down. So we're sort of jumping up in stages that are easily definable. And this means that if we make a mistake, we can go back knowing what our ratio was roughly for the area we've painted over that we shouldn't have done. Or equally, if we just decide, actually, I need a bit more highlight with that one, we just go back and make up that highlight knowing that it was this of this of this of this. It's all in fractions. So again, get this down to a glaze, thin enough that we can still control it easily, but still a glaze. I think the reason is judging people, I don't know, makes insecure people feel better about themselves. Yes, that's definitely right. Right, so once again, tiny amount of paint on the brush. Make sure it retains that tip, but easily pulls the paint up off of your palette. And then these highlights will be, again, in a lot of the same areas. So top of the cheekbone, one more time. But here's where... So Damien, here's a face I painted earlier on. It's just traditional art, though, but I think I captured it really well. Just did a light sketch, 10 minutes, all right, 12. Maybe 13 at the outside. But this is one we did earlier on. Look at this guy and his highlights that he's got on his face. A lot of the same areas we've just highlighted have a smaller, brighter highlight built into them. So that bit just at the side here, it's below his eye. This area here. This bit just here at the top of his lip, as it sort of curls around to his nose. Definitely liar. Absolutely, I didn't paint that, but I did take the photo. No, I'm lying about that too. We just do these. We just do tiny toy soldiers. So we're keeping our highlights smaller than the ones we did before. And on this downward stroke, we'll just do about half of it. Obviously the top half before anyone asks. A little bit inside lip. Get his nose. He's got a very bright nose, very prominent nose, has the Primaris Raggy. Not like Ragnar Lothbrok, who's just got a normal nose. This guy's got a honking great big nose. Look at his hair. Now look at Jay's hair. It's white. Do you mean that guy? Yeah, but he's got a big, long, plaited thing. That's not a mohawk. He wishes he had a mohawk. They made him wear a plait. He's got a ponytail. But he's a really good model, obviously, for using as a reference for this. Jay needs more yellow in it. Yeah, there you go, Des. Well done. Well done. Now, it's important that you keep a little bit of distance in between these two highlight lines, right? You don't want these to bleed together because then you're starting to lose definition. As with everything that we do here, we need that contrast. We're really looking for those areas of absolute maximum light versus absolute maximum dark. So again, top half of this little vertical. Now he's got that scar which comes down through his eye to this side of his face. So on that, we're going to do some little almost specular highlights just in between it, making sure we keep that line, that recess. And we can obviously come back in and glaze that in if we go a little bit outside the lines. Haha. But there we go. Ragnar can use his nose as a close combat weapon is both of his arms get cut off. That is true. He's got a bit of a hatchet face. I think he's probably more inclined to bite though. Now, all we've done so far on this highlight pass is some of the areas we've already highlighted, but remember, we don't work in blocks, so we did kind of this block, well, probably almost more this block with our first highlight. Now we're going to bring that up a little bit, and we're going to start extending this onto the brow line. Now, I know I just said a minute ago this has got some Bugman's glow in it, which has got no business being at that area, but it's absolutely fine to do things like this highlight here towards the side of his head. So not necessarily the ones on the middle of his forehead, where we get in here. Though, that being said, on this particular mini, because he's got that scar, we could definitely start looking at keeping some of these highlights in here a little bit more reddish with that Bugman's glow. So be careful not to paint inside the scar, obviously. Very small areas to paint in, but get yourself control, get yourself braced. I'm managing to sit now in a position where both my elbows are sort of on the desk, and we're bringing our hands together, just cradling this shot glass. So I don't want to break it, because then I'll probably ruin the mini with the slight panic that happens. So we just pad that out with a few of them. And then we've got somewhere we can rest our hands to make sure we're nice and stable. Now, you think this part is annoying. Wait till you paint the hair and accidentally paint some of his face. That's where there's going to be some swearing, boys and girls. So if you're of a nervous disposition, this is not the stream for you when we get to that stage. There might be some almighty, horrible words used. There you go. So, from the lowest part of his face, he's looking pretty good. That's looking a lot like a face. This is good. It's a good start. Actually looks like a face. So now, you're going to add in more Cadian flesh tone. In fact, I think we'll probably go with just pure Cadian flesh tone now. This is the highlight that's establishing that true mid-tone of his face. It's very similar to our last one, which obviously was about 75% Cadian flesh tone and 25% Bugman's Globe. It's just that little extra bit of highlight, right? Did you notice that all the Forgeable Cadian infantry are gone, Death Corps and Vig's still there, but anything Cadian yeeted? I didn't. What I'm really upset about is that nobody anywhere seems to have the points for Plague Toads of Nurgle. I think they're going to be legends, and I'm really, really gutted about it because they were my favourite unit from the Demon Army we painted recently. So, boo. Boo Earns. They were hurting nobody. Fuck Chaplain Dreadnoughts right in the eyeball, but they were hurting nobody. So, we've just done a little bit of a highlight on the cheekbone. I'm going to do a little dot of the highlight here. Well, not a dot, it's a tiny line, I suppose. And then we'll concentrate on the nose, because remember, we're working upwards in bands, yeah? That nose is going to get one of the brightest highlights put on it, because of how prominent it is, especially on this guy. Fucking Pelican Boy over here. But on any miniature, it's one of the things that catches the most light. So we're hitting all those areas, same as we've just done, but with a smaller highlight than we just laid down. And now we start working further up. So your sound, or is it you? I can't tell you. The rest of the chat, is there anything wrong with the sound? I'll check the source is still... I think we're okay. Yeah, it's still this microphone. Viking, you're a dick. I mean that from the bottom of all of our hearts. So now we can start highlighting some of the actual areas of right. Peckish! Here he is! Dude, you're missing Ragnar's face day. How you doing, man? Let's get some shout outs for this absolute legend. How's your stream, man? Get some hype in the chat. We need the Fen command, I suppose, for raids now, don't we? It's pretty about time we got one. How's your stream, Chief? A chicken party? That's a cool party. Oh, chicken patty! God damn. Damn my dyslexia. Damn my dyslexia. I was like, what the fuck is a chicken party? Is this like a I don't really eat red meat version of a sausage party? Like, what the fuck is that? Chicken patty? That's a much better name. I promise I didn't just get paint water into my apple juice. That's Mrs. Fox. Awesome. How you doing, Mrs. Fox? Good to meet you. So, now we can work on the forehead. We start to bring these highlights in on all these super prominent areas. Now, obviously, the temples, so here, are usually in shadow. They're normally ever so slightly recessed. And Ragnar looks like he thinks a lot. He doesn't look like he thinks a lot at all. So maybe there's less space behind there, and that's why his temples are really recessed. Viking, that's just harsh and unnecessary, despite how true it may be. How dare you? But yeah, he's probably right. So, we're going to get a nice highlight on these areas of his brow. And remember, we did that sepia wash earlier on to give this a slightly yellowish cast to this part of his head. So we must make sure we preserve that in the recesses. Go around the front of his head. Obviously, we've got this really, really prominent, frowny brow line going on. We can start highlighting a bit more the area around this scar. Stuff and things are happening. Preacher 40k, thank you for that follow. That was a really good series until it got really fucking disturbing. And I appreciate the comics are. I read about half of the comic. I never went around to finishing it. Damn. That was a weird series. So carrying on, glazing these highlights in. Get on those again. Ragnar the beak face. It's like this guy's so thick they have problems sinkage when brilliant. Yeah. So he's got these frown lines. So I mean, same as I've got this like really prominent frowny brow. So we can start getting a lot of highlights on here and making that a bit more of a feature. This one on this side is a little bit more difficult because he's got that big feckin' bar fight scar in there. But certainly start to bring those up. And then we can actually bring this up essentially all the way onto this brow at the top of his forehead. We want to leave a little bit of a line in here so that we've got that extra bit of recess, that detail. You know, I'm always telling you guys, you know, try and get more contrast out of what you're doing, help keep that definition flowing. This is the way you do it. You leave these tiny, tiny little recesses of a darker shade. That's way too much paint on my brush. But we need to preserve those, especially because we made them slightly yellowish earlier on with that sepia wash. There you go. So that's our first highlight pass of pure Cadian flesh. So now we can start working this up and making his face a little bit brighter. So, I tell you guys about this paint all the time and how magical it is. This is P3's Menoth White Highlight. This is by far, I feel, the best pigment that you could have from P3. If you only buy one paint from P3, you get this one because you can use it for everything else. Creepy Kangaroo, I've never painted any Star Wars minis. If I'm honest, I'm not really a Star Wars guy or a Star Trek guy or a I liked Picard, I liked the Next Gen, I like bits of Deep Space Nine and stuff, and I liked some of the Star Wars films, but the sort of worlds as a whole, the universes they're in, never really like grabbed me, so it's not really my bag. There we go. So now, same as with that Bugman's Glow, we're going to start making a mix of Cadian Flesh Tone and Menoth White Highlight. But we'll start off 75% Cadian Flesh Tone, 25% Menoth White Highlight. I'm going to keep this going nice and gradual, because if we go too bright too fast, it's going to look like somebody has got their Rival Crafts bush making torch out and done this, and it's going to be real bad. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. We spent an hour and 20 minutes essentially painting this dude right now, so that's the last thing we want to do, is ruin it. Low can't play the game though. There's a guy in the community that paints some. Adam Smithies. Smithy Streams. That's it. Adam Smithies is his Discord name. And he's been painting a load of the dudes in white armor. But they're not stormtroopers, they're something else. Which is why I don't know what they're called. So there's a couple of people on like our community, in our community that paint them, but he's the only one I can remember. So here, we're just going to dot, and I do really mean just a dot now, the cheeks, the edge of the nose, and about halfway up the bridge of his nose. That little vertical line around the cheek. Just in. There, got a little bit of dry paint in the brush there. Let's clear that off. There we go. Clone Troopers. That's it. Someone told me last time. During a tourney event, all named characters will be banned. I used to go to I suppose we all used to go somewhere because of COVID, but you know, one of the places I used to go to play games, Bristol Independent Gaming, used to ban independent characters. You couldn't put them in your list at all. And then they got balanced about enough that Jim was like, look, it's cool, you can put them in. First time on Twitch, I was wondering what model that is. I don't know much about Space Wolves. I'm an Orc player. Oh, if you're an Orc player, then you know you must recognise Ragnar Blackmane, attempter to be Slayer of the Beast that is Ghazghkull Thraka. But it is Ragnar. It's from the Prophecy of the Wolf set, which contains obviously Ghazi and his fucking sexy new sculpt. Gotta love that. That is baller status over 9,000. Get those little dots highlighting that. A little bit on the end of his nose. Good hawk-faced Ragnar. And then start working up on the forehead. So eyebrow line around the skull. I want to make the scar look really kind of angry. And I've unfortunately got a lot of scars, so I appreciate that they're usually a little bit bright and stand out a lot. So start bringing that highlight on the top really up. Leave all of these little recesses, all the little gaps around, like this tiny one here and then just above it, all those. Make sure they stay nice and dark in comparison to what we're doing. Now obviously that's the key, is that comparison. You can't just slap some like Reichland flesh shade down over it and go, right, now they're really dark. Because then you look like a guy who's drawn around his face and so on with a marker pen. That's no good. That's not what we're after. Just want to make sure that we are keeping it looking natural. Keeping all of our highlights nice and thin, glazing them onto the mini, which is going to help us get those transitions. Don't want any blocky colour, it's not self-shaded, it's not a manga thing, or an anime thing I think you call it these days. And remember, now we're working on just this section, so we're not putting any of these highlights in down here around the chin. We're retaining that blue band, red band, yellow band kind of theory. Bob McFly, thank you very much, dude. You've always wanted to pin your models when painting, but you feel like it'd mess up. You just drill a little hole and stick a... This is just a paper clip that I bent out of shape, mate. You know, it's nothing really, honestly. It's super simple. Right, now more of that Melloth White highlight. So now we're at about a 50-50 mix of Melloth White highlight to our Arcadian flesh tone. Again, keep that nice and thin. And this time now we really do need to be working it on just the most prominent highlights. So plenty around the brow area, obviously, like right at the very top of his head. Very bright. Let's go back to Ragnar Lothbrok. That's YouTube. That's Ragnar Lothbrok. There we are. So look at the brightest parts of his head. The absolute brightest part is right up here at the top of his forehead. Yeah? A little bit up towards the hairline. But then you're kind of looking at the nose, just above his eyebrows. They're like the top 3 bright points. There's a little bit of brightness just here and just here where parts of his face are a little bit more... lumpy's a really bad word. But, you know, where they sort of bulge out a little bit. So, like this padded bit I've got on my face as well. He's kind of got. And it's just there at the top of there is a little bit extra glisten. And this is like where we're at with this set of highlights. We've got maybe one more highlight to go. And that's going to be reserved for here, here, and the tops of his eyebrows. And that's it. So... back here, thin this down, keep that glaze going on. So. Any paste I paint, I don't blend at all. It's like 2 really bright highlights and a really dark skin tone. I mean, that's one way of doing it, man. But we did the shades, so just the shades, with Arcadian flesh tone, just burnt some shades around the lower jaw parts especially, and that part only really took us 10 minutes while we were explaining how to do everything as well. So you can really just add a lot to your minis by just adding the shades in over a base coat. You don't have to go fully all out and go all the way up with highlights, especially if it's rank and file troops, because they've got a lot less of an audience normally. There's normally a lot less people looking at those with a critical eye. So you can avoid them a little bit. But now we're getting these super bright highlights. Now this is where it's going to start looking a little bit skewed. Especially while the paint is still wet. Because it hasn't had a chance to dry down, become one with its surroundings and meld in and get all relaxed and so on. But once that dries down a little bit, it'll be a lot less stark. Don Zwego! Dude, welcome to the stream! Thank you for bringing your community over here. How you doing, man? I don't think I follow you at all. So, how was your stream? What were you up to? Let's get some hype. Let's get a shout out for Don Zwego. Everyone go give him a follow. He's brought his people over here. Let's check it out. And here you go. Let's give you a follow. There you are. That's a very cool Twitch logo you've got as well, man. I love that. Looking sick. So we're painting Ragnar Blackmane at the moment. We're doing his face tonight. We've done pretty much the rest of him already. Got a few highlights to do here and there, but otherwise this part is done. And today it's all about the face. Painting faces is something I don't do very often at all, because none of my minis will see the battlefield with their flipping helmet off, because they're not silly. No, Ragnar, you're not allowed out without a scarf. You know, it's kind of that level. Did it first test stream while doing some decal work on my gunplay. Oh, nice, man. Very nice. I know a few friends that are into making the gunplay models. And at first it seemed so simple and innocent, like, oh, you build like giant robots and stuff. Cool, that sounds epic. And it became, well, basically what I do is I buy this kit and then I go to a hardware store and I buy a load of other bits and I chop up the kit that I've just spent $300 on. And I replace these bits so you've got like working pistons inside now. And I'm like, what? This seems like way more work than it needs to be, right? So, like, damn. But the kits look awesome. I love giant robots. So it's something I'm surprised I've not gotten into yet. But I play Knights in 40k. I love mechs. I mean, what's not to love about big stampy robots, right? But now seeing how into it people get, I know I'd end up down the same rabbit hole. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to completely rip apart its leg and rebuild these bits. Because I'd never finish one. So, we stay away. So getting the highlights there on its forehead. Leaving all of this area just underneath that brightest part. More of that flesh regular colour rather than this flesh super highlight colour. Just getting a little bit of highlight of his eyebrow. Again, because we're working with such thin, glazy paints, we can do the same highlight multiple times and just build up the opacity a little bit. We're still using that size 1 brush as well. No need to break out the minuscule, tiny brushes. Maybe for eyes, but, you know. Eyes are about the one thing I can't really paint on stream as well, because I need to be so close in to do it that it's really, really uncomfortable to paint. So we might not paint the eyes on stream. Let's see if we can do it, though. And we'll give it a shot. That might be the one time we break out the tiny brush as well, painting the eyes, because that's just the devil. And teeth. Yeah, we've got the teeth left to do as well. And his tongue. He's got his tongue stuck out. Have they painted the tongue on like the actual mini? Where is Games Workshop? Fighter Millennium one. You can't see it in that picture. Oh, here you go. So, yeah, if we flick over here, they painted his tongue. They've gone with a much more brown skin tone than we've got. We've gone for a little bit more flesh tone. Sees a little bit of sun here and there, rather than someone that's got a little bit of a tan. But it's all good. Ichu! How you doing, man? See, Don Zuego. There's some gunplay people around here. Now come and watch your show. Alright, let's get a little bit more going on around this scar. And this is going to be one of the areas that we do give that extra bright highlight to in a second. A, it's on his forehead, and B, it's a massive feature of this gigantic fucking melon head that he's got. Alright, so I actually decided that I want a little bit more brightness just in here. See, we've got a slightly rogue bristle on the brush right now as well, which is annoying. Yeah. Because the paint I was using was almost dry. I need to add a little bit more water to it. Do you know it looks a little bit like a vamp? Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not quite like Mephiston going on, but, you know. At that point, it's more. It's a lot less Mephiston and less my fingering. But. Okay, so we got one highlight left to do. One extra jump in our value, so a little bit more bright. Now add in even more of that Menoth white highlights, so we're crazy bright now. This is going to be just on the absolute brightest, shiniest parts of his head. This one we are going to go right down to the absolute glaze with. So just in here, get some in. Notice we're not going right back to the hairline, leaving a little bit of a gap. In fact, if we go back to the other Ragnar, flick over here. If you look at the very, very front of his head, it's kind of difficult to see, but if you just go to the right of that, you'll notice that there's that bright bit, and then you start seeing that hairline creep in gradually. That's basically what we're going to try and do here. It's just going to showcase that little bit. So, get that highlight going on, tiny bit on the eyebrow, because remember that was one of the second brightest parts, and then right at the end of his giganto hawk nose, because that was another one of those brightest parts. But you see how small we're keeping these highlights, right? And then because he's got this big old scar, we're just going to do a little tiny bit of this around that as well. There we go. So that's the flesh part done. What we'll do next? What we'll do next? Now, be honest, how long has it been since you last painted hazard stripes? Not that long. We did them on a giveaway mini for some. Oh Christ! You missed the hazard stripe Broodlord. That's what you missed. That was a lot of hazard stripes, all organic ones. Anyway, what I was going to say was, before we do the rest of the details here, like the teeth and so on, I'm just going to quickly pop a little bit of black on the hair, so that can be drying while we're working on those details. And you guys remember right at the start of the show, I said get yourself a nice, clean, brand new, fresh, wet palette when you're doing flesh. Here's why. Look at how much space we've used for what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colours. We've used all of that room. So when you're doing faces, anything like that, make sure you give yourself plenty of real estate on that wet palette. You've got practicing for the Necrons for your Skelly boys. Just take the same scheme and make it metallic. Dude, we did other Necrons. We did Nucrons as a private painting lesson last night. So this guy showed off on the stream the other day. This is one of the Nucron style Necrons, using none of Games Workshop's new paints, because you don't need any of that stuff at all. You've got plenty of the right tools at your disposal. None of that bollocks. And this one we knocked up in about 45 minutes. This one I did him and another one, which I've thrown somewhere over there, cleaning up earlier on, in about the same length of time. So just a nice, quick, easy go on some crons. Super simple. Honest to God, really, really, really easy. Same kind of airbrush methods that we normally use. The real thing is you paint all of the silver with the airbrush, and then you airbrush brown on top of it. Ta-da! The brown stops being so metallic because this is going over it, but still retains some of that metallic sort of sheen to it. And then you give it a wash, give it a highlight, bam, done, next. The green is so easy. We've done a few streams recently on glowing stuff with purple. Well, same logic, but with green. I think we went a little bit ham on this. I wouldn't go that bright at all normally, but, you know, I was in a rush to get it done. But, you know, 45 minutes, paint a death mark. Death mark? Yeah, death mark. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Right, need some more water on the palette, because I'm going to start working with the black. I don't want to interfere with any of the water we've got there, which we're going to use for just the flesh. And then we'll get some black put down on this. What we could have done, had I thought about it before I got the black out, was just use some black ink. That would have been much, much better. But as soon as we get this in, it's going to outline the face a little bit. I'm going to be super, super careful that we don't paint any of his face, because that would be really annoying. So if you're allergic to swear words, now would be the time to fuck off. Because if I get some on his face, I will probably say something very, 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 very bad indeed. You have been warned. If there are children listening, then I am really sorry. I will have ruined their childhood. So while I'm doing this, let's have a quick chat about 9th edition 40k and the things that they showed us for knights over the last day or two. Because my god. Points values. Let's talk points values. So I told lots of people at the tail end of 8th edition that knights were in fact overcosted, and when they were talking about the points increases to every army, yes, every army, over on Warhammer Community and on their streams and stuff, I flat out said, if knights go up, it will be less than 30 points. And I was told by some vocal people that I was wrong and biased and a fool. I was only saying that because I was a knight player and I'm protective of my boys. Firstly, every man is protective of his boys. That's just the way it is. But, yes, Ninja Wolf, exactly like that. We had to remove that clip. I watched it again before we got rid of it, and it was painful, even like a year on. Oh, God, that was rough. That was so rough. But we fixed it twice. Fucking sniper rifle. So, a Knight Crusader with the same armament that I used to give it was 468 points in 8th edition. In 9th edition, it's 490 points for an entire gain of 22 points. 22 is less than 30. I told you. The person that I was having that argument with had a bad experience of knights at a tournament, and basically it's been flat out biased against them ever since. But there's a lot of that. A lot of people that had like a bad touch versus one army and like, fuck this army forever. For most people it's Tau. Or Iron Hands. Or Imperial Fists. Those are the ones normally now. So, yeah. For starters, Knight Crusader, 30 point increase or less, as predicted. It's like manna from heaven here in that, I'll tell you. Jack Vin, thank you for the follow. Forsaken Angel, hello. Yeah, Stompers are horrendously overcosted, except they've still got 40 wounds. The way to fix that mini, by the way, is to drop its wounds by about 15, and then the points come down really, really far. Thanks for the follow, both you guys. So, Knight Crusaders went down in points. Essentially on what people thought they were going to be. People were thinking 550, instead 490. We're good. We're good, boys. The Helverin went up. Went up to, I think, 170 or 175 went up to. You got 5 points on the Stubber. A Heavy Stabber costs 5 points. But a Stormbolter costs 3. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? What is this nonsense? But still, we're okay. Because my 2,000 point list, which I've been playing for the practice games that we've played at 1750, consisted of 3 Crusaders and 2 Helverins. I've won tournaments with that list before. It's a strong list. It does everything you need it to. Holds objectives well. Good amount of DACA. Crusaders, because I play House Crast, always are good in combat. So it's a strong, okay list. And I was expecting that would be what my 2,000 point list would be. Hang on 1 second, and I'll acknowledge the stuff and things. Geek2B, thank you for that follow. But instead, my 2,000 point list is 3 Knight Crusaders with Ironstone Missile Pod and Thermal Cannon, because the Battle Cannon is still gash. I'm sorry guys, it is. Unless it's on a Paladin, and there's no point in taking a Paladin if you can take a Crusader. It just isn't. And so, I have 3 Crusaders, Thermal, Ironstorm, Gatling Gun, and 3 Helverins. So my 2,000 point list that I've been playtesting at the old 1750 points gained an entire Helverin. All about that. That's epic. And I thought that was enough. I thought that was fine. I thought, you know what, GW? I don't need anything else. We are a happy lad. You've already let me fight in buildings. We're alright now. But no. Games Workshop reached out and said, you know what, Jay? You're cool. You were playing knights at tournaments, and you were doing well with them when people were saying it was impossible. So I'm going to give you another buff as well. We're going to let you have the ability to move over people in the movement phase again. And you can still fall back from combat and shoot. My god. Hell yes. Hell yes. Leviathans with butcher cannons have gone up. Yes, the Chaos Leviathan costs about 410 points. The Marine equivalent, which is arguably better because of the buffs that go around it, but not because of the weapons and stuff that it has, although it can have hunter-killer missiles, which the Chaos one can't. Just always feel a little bit bad news for the Chaos, but you know. But the Marine one is cheaper than the Chaos one, which is a little bit bad, I think, because it's definitely more dangerous. Come on, Mr. Widow's Peak, sort your hair out. Sidey's going on. Big old mutton chops, right. Got a few little bits of hair to just touch up here, and then this part is ready for some highlights. Obviously, we're just going to paint the highlights on in greys, and if I'm honest, we'll do that off stream because you guys know what a highlight looks like. Let's be completely fair here. So that is his face. Now I think that looks really good. Damien, you're in the chat. You're here to judge me on my faces. So far, marks out of 10. 10 being Scarlett Johansson and 1 being Vanessa Feltz. Where would you rate me on the Baber scale? Not Widow's Peak, McDonald's hairline. Awesome. Awesome. Turn it to the camera. Try and keep it in focus. We're at the maximum zoom level, so that's about as close as we can get. There you go, Chief. I think that's okay. Let's do teeth. Let's do teeth. So they've done teeth and tongue on their version. Just give you a quick flick over to that. This is fake Ragnar. So you see a little bit of tongue in there. He's got his little teeth. That's the next bit. So for the teeth, we're going to cheat a little bit. Basically going to paint him black. He's going to be Ragnar, the wish I'd gone to the dentist. That's what he's going to be. Actually, that's a dumb idea. We won't do that, but we're going to cheat later on with black. We start off with some Menoth White highlight. So we've got that bright bone. Not going to go with white, not just yet. I'll wait till you paint your eyes and teeth, my mate, as it is unfinished. Oh, alright. Oh, God, we're not good at painting eyes, and on stream it's really difficult as well. I know you've done tutorial videos, so I appreciate you know exactly what that pain feels like, but it's rough. I should have done the tongue first. We'll do the tongue before we do the bottom row of his teeth. Oh, you prick. He's clearly dribbling, that's what that is. That's not a bit of missed paint at all. That's the first fuck up we've had so far. Not bad for nearly 2 hours worth of painting. Right, while I repair that, let me give you something to do that's not involving looking at the stream. And that is to type in exclamation point box and exclamation point base, because exclamation point box will lead you to an Instagram post of mine. And on that Instagram post, you will see the potential to go and win an entire box of the new Games Workshop 9th edition 40k Indomitus. So if you feel like winning one of those boxes, head on over there. Follow the instructions in that Instagram post to the letter. Make sure you do them all. And you could win an Indomitus box. Just literally that simple. Entire box. That was close, Bobby McFly, but you made it eventually. Entire box shipped to you from here to you anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. That box weighs 8 tons, which means RIP my wallet on that one for postage, but it is what it is. But you could win the entire box. Now that's one of those two commands. Exclamation point base is the other one, which is possibly even more exciting. Even more exciting! Because we are going to paint on release weekend. Are you putting a link to it on YouTube videos as well? Good shout. If I'm honest, mate, let's be completely, like, fucking transparent about this right now. Let's go to my channel. Okay, damn, that got more views than I thought it was going to get. But let's... Bob McFly, thank you for that follow. Let's just pop over here. 2 views. 3 views. 8 views. Somehow 35 views. 21 views. And 20 views. If you've made it to YouTube and you've watched the vid, you've listened to this, and I've talked about going to my Instagram, so go there and do it, the audience is probably getting it a different way. You know. So they're probably not getting their news from that first. That's just what I'm getting at. Rocky, how you doing, brother? You sent 900 grand parcel to Oz by UPS, 250 quid. Well, like I said, RIP my wallet, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm hoping like someone local to me wins, so you just give it to them. Like, that's best case scenario for me, but unlikely. Tired? Sorry to hear that, brother. Right. We're painting Raggy's face. I'm trying to work out how to highlight his tongue. So we've got some Bugman's Glow mixed in with the red. But that's going to be a little bit too much like the flesh colour, I think. Mostly flesh colour anyway. Rocky, if it's you, damn, we should definitely have done the prize draw during the made-to-order thing. I could have just made-to-order one in any country instead. Damn me for setting the date after the giveaway. Oh, fuck. Some of you don't use Insta or Facebook, you know. Cool. Well, in that case, you don't have to enter. Yeah, little highlight on Le Tongue. Element Affiliate is in there, and so is Rival Crafts affiliate, but would be worth putting Instagram link in there as well, yes? Makes sense. How did you forget about Rival Crafts, Desmond? How dare you? How dare you? Right, got some purple now. I'm going to turn the purple into a glaze, like a real thin one as well. Dirty paint water purple is what we've got. There you go, GW, you can bottle that one and sell it if you want. I'll let you have it. Bobby, have you ever bought a recast model from... No. No, I completely disagree with any kind of recasting. 3D printing, other people's IP, all of that shit. No, totally disagree with it. If you like the game, if you want the models, if you want to run, let's say, Chaplain Dreads to give a historical example, you want to run that, go to Forge World, get the mini. If it's out of stock, oh shit. Tough. If it's out of production, if it's no longer produced, I'd still rather you've got the real thing, like off eBay or second-hand sites or trade shows and shit like that. You know. But if it's like, I literally just need 2 more of this particular Elysian jump mini dude, and that's my army finished. Alright, cool. I have less of an issue with that. But recasts is no, that's not on, man. That's not on. Convert it. Yeah, that's totally right. Custom bits to a printer. So let's say, for instance, you've got a inspired by GW head for Ragnar, but it's not this one. Okay, and I'm not talking about this is in a different position. I mean, it's a different head. He looks a lot more feral, Wolfen-esque. Yeah? Cool. Alright. Go for it, man. That's totally fine. Because it's not this thing. It's inspired by the lore, the story, maybe inspired in part by this, but it isn't this thing. It's not a part that exists in their catalogue or has ever existed in their catalogue. So that's fine. No different from someone like Damien, for instance, who's a very good sculptor, deciding I'm going to sculpt a head that looks just like this one out of green stuff myself, but I'm going to change it slightly because I want it to have a full bushy beard and not just these little mutton choppy sideburns. You know, or I want Ragnar to have dreadlocks instead of that, so I'm going to sculpt something that's very similar and then give him massive dreads. Kanga, peace out, man. Wolf is metal and out of production. Find it on eBay. But just 3D printing somebody else's stuff is totally wrong. Alright? I can't make that any clearer than that. It's just wrong. Right, teeth on the bottom. He has got a row of teeth. They're real hard to see. Fuck me, that is... Oh my life. These are the smallest teeth in the world. My God, I don't even know if I can paint those. Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out together, people. You can't even see them on camera. Fucking hell. I need some of those Aid Cook binoculars. Bear with me one moment. Doesn't show your phone number. Hi, Damien. You're on air. You're now on speakerphone. How are you? I can't hear you, and that's a lot of feedback, pal. Say hi to the stream, Damien. I don't think this is going to work, mate, so I'm going to have to hang up now. But I appreciate the call to give me some advice, though. And he's gone. That was interesting. That's the first time I've had a member of the stream audience call me on air whilst he's also in the stream. That was a good one, though. One second, just restart the music after we'd gone over loop. There we are. Might have been about that. I doubt it. I think it was because he sent me a video as well, so I think it was him trying to give me a little bit of helpful advice. Because if anyone knows how to paint faces really well, it's definitely him. But these are definitely the tiniest teeth ever in the world. But we've definitely got teeth. There's a daft vid with my glasses. Oh, right. What the fuck are you trying to ring me for? Alright, there we go. This guy's looking a little bit like the guy from Doom. The Hurt Me Plenty, like, Sarge. That's it. Right, next up. Painting his fucking eyes. Hokily dokily do. So, eyes. Really bad at this. Paint them black. Obviously, just paint the eyeball. So don't just spooge your brush in there and hope for the best. Old man Damien. There we go. Still using size 1 brush. This is the part where it may get changed out. This side always easier to paint. Always easier to paint that side than the other. But what I'm going to try and do, bear me 1 second, folks. I'm going to try and change the zoom out of that, the focus a bit, to something a little higher up, like so. And that might make it a little easier now. Where are you going to be in focus? Oh god, right up there. No, we've fucked it entirely, but god, that's greatly in focus, just not in any light. I can't paint like that, right? Fuck it, camera, you're moving. You have to deal with it blocking off the majesticness of my face, but I think most of you can live with that. Hey, look at that, now he's in focus. God damn. Just, if we paint like this, if we paint like this, no, too far. Paint like this, he's in focus. Let's do that. So, got green stuff, some bigger eyes. Fuck. All these years, totally wrong, clearly. God, this is really not a comfortable painting position. Got the world's smallest focal point now as well. Right. There we go, that's better. Right here. Okay. So. Now I need to paint the pupils. Which means what we really need is white. I'm going to use this. See if we can do it with this. Let's see if this works. Never done eyes with ink. Might be the absolute worst thing to do. And you guys are going to have to live with the fact that you won't necessarily see the brush strokes that we're doing. But for me to paint these damn things, we are going to need to be in a comfortable position. But I can now bring it straight back up into focus, like so. So what we're doing now is going to paint a white line across all of the black that we just laid down. Yeah, the ink's working well. I actually might leave that eye white and milky, because obviously he's got a big scar running through it, so that kind of makes sense to do as well. Yeah, I think I like that actually. Rocky, peace out, brother. We'll see you soon. So on this side then, we'll just do this one with the pupil. That hair's really annoying. Right. Going to start off on the inside dot. So basically you paint two dots, one either side of the bit of black you want to be the pupil, right? And the reason to do this rather than trying to paint the pupil is because, I mean, it's just hard. That's all I got. Sod the eyeballs. Fuck you, Peckish. Fuck you. You said display in your living room. Which is why we're doing scenic basing, creating fucking stalagmites, stalactites. Well, yeah, both actually. Frozen lake snow effects. I'll paint his fucking eyeballs if I want to, pal. How much does my Mohawk get in the camera then? No, it actually rests on the camera. There we go, we're okay. I'm trying very hard not to paint the side of his nose because we don't want to do that, obviously. And unfortunately, I think I have. I also haven't painted enough of a black line on that one. It already just looks like a black dot. Need to extend that out a little bit. Okay. Don't like eyeballs. Okay, so currently he's Ragnar the squinty, but we'll fix that. We'll definitely fix that. Let's, huh? God, he looks like an extra from fucking Hot Fuzz at the moment. Now he looks like he belongs in a Batman cartoon, because it's just the white eye. But let's correct that. What brushes do I use? Exclamation point brushes, man. We went one step further than that. You'd be proud of me, mate. You need some steady hand apple juice. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to one of our flesh tones. So this is why you need all this room on the wet palette, right? So grab one of our glazes here. This is the red and Bugman's Glow mix. I'm just going to repair this part of his eye. Now we need go a little bit further up. Okay, that looks better, and then I just want to re-highlight one of those bits for this. A little bit more Acadian in there. One of my highlights is just dried out a little bit. Just remixing it. So Acadian flesh tone mixed with a little of the Mammoth White highlight. I should probably wait until I've done the entire eye before doing this, but I'm going to nail it now. Don't you worry. Bang! I'm going to do it in one. It's okay. It's okay. There we go, that's repaired that part. Now we just need to get that pupil. Going full Mr. Miyagi style. We're seeing the bonsai tree in our mind, Daniel-san. We know exactly what the bonsai tree must look like. I'm going to close our eyes. I'm going to paint the eyeball. I promise you we're not. Fuck no. I could barely hit the head at that point, let alone the eyeball. Trying to do this one on stream as well. Now he's squinting the other way. He looks fine from that angle. From this angle, got that going on. All right. Over just a touch more. We need those Aid Cook binoculars. My eyes are not capable of this. All right. That's fine. Fucking hell, this is not easy at all. Right, sorry guys. You are not going to see this brush stroke because it's not happening on stream like that. I'm just going to do this in my own comfortable position. And you can deal with just looking at the back of my head if that's what you get. Empty your mind. There's nothing in there in the first place, god damn it. Right, got a little bit out of control with the white, but otherwise the eyeball is in very approximately the correct place. And yes, my posture for painting in a relaxed way is absolute dog shit. Do not spend hours at your desk fucking hunched over like I am, leaning on the desk for support. It will do you absolutely no favours. Right, all we need to do now is take away some of that white at this end, and I'm happy with it. So this being one of the darker shadows on his face, I'm going to grab some more of that Bugman's Glow Kador red base mix. Get that nice and glazy. Okay, get that really glazy. So we're at the moment. Right. There you go. There's a little bit of black just underneath the eye, which will clear up and re-highlight just here. Okay, I'm calling that face done. That's honestly about as good as it's going to get from me. It's taken 2 hours and 20 minutes with a load of talking, a load of using examples and so on, which is more than I was hoping it would take. I was hoping we'd get that part done in about an hour, hour and a half tops, but it is what it is. Got a white eye this side because of that big old scar on his face. Just going to knock the light down a touch so we get a little bit less of the blur. No, it's a touch, not turn it off, you knob. I'm looking for the knob. Somewhere around there. Wrong one. There we go. So, I'm okay with it. Managed to get the eye done. We've got the right shades in the right places. We've got the right colours, the right hues in the right places. Obviously got the hair to do, got some gold to do, and things like that. But that we will do off stream. So that's just going to be paint some little bits of grey and a little bit of gold and so on. What we're going to do now, though, is take a break from that accursed thing. Because it's time to do the whip. I'll just fix that another day. So, would it be faster if it wasn't a sub-assembly, fully built? Fuck that. Right. Oh, God, we've really fucked the focus. Look at this. Ta-da! Now just deal with a little square on the screen. That's the rest of him. This bit goes on sort of there. I'm Ragnar Blackname. Rah! Like so. Looks great as far as I'm concerned. I can barely see though, so you know, there's that to take into account. But there he is, there's Raggy, the rest of him. On the next stream, which is Thursday night, all of this will have been finished by then. Maybe. But on Thursday night, which is the next stream, woo! Gonna paint all of his base. And no, we're not gonna dry brush it. Fuck dry brushing. We're gonna airbrush it. We're gonna do a load of airbrushing. We're gonna do some pigment work. We're gonna get a frozen pool of ice in here. We're gonna put snow on this. We're gonna make stalagmites, which are icicles that go upwards. We're gonna make stalactites, which are ones that go downwards. I'm gonna put them on the base. So if you want to see a fucking epic winter snow and ice base, this is what you do. This is what you come to stream and you see. Yeah, we're well out of position. Go that way a bit. So there's that. That is going to be Thursday night stream live at 9, twitch.tv/Mohawkminiatures. Before we go into the whip, so exclamation point Discord, get your stuff in there. Damien, I don't want to see any of the faces that you've painted because you'll make me look really bad. Put them in there. Put them in there. Exclamation point win and exclamation point mystery. You could win a £50 hobby voucher from me as long as you are here on the last stream day of this month, which this month is the 30th and it is a Thursday night. So that is 2 weeks from our next stream, I believe. Which is awesome. Remember, on the weekend of the 25th and the 26th, we will be running a raffle and we'll be streaming all day on both of those days, where we paint the Judicia and the Scorpec Lord from the new Indomitus box set. If you want to be involved in that exclamation point base, we'll be selling raffle tickets because of the way that Twitch has the donate function tied to your meeps. Anyone that buys raffle tickets will earn meeps. You'll earn meeps just by watching, and so therefore you could get the best possible chance of winning that hobby voucher if you tune in for that weekend. Exclamation point mystery is because every month on our last day of the month stream we give away 2 things. Oh, that box is gone now. It just disappears. That's brilliant. I didn't know that. We learned something new about the camera. Last month, prize was Ragnar, and as you can see, we are going fucking ham on this guy. This month, you have a choice of the Blood Bowl Minotaur, which I still feel is one of the best minis that Forge would have created for Blood Bowl. I fucking love this thing. There's so many interesting parts to paint on it, loads of skin tones. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. If you like Blood Bowl, get this. Loads of teams can take him. If you're into Sigmar, there's probably rules for Minotaur somewhere in there. If you're into D&D, you've got a Minotaur mini for your campaigns or whatever it is that you do. This guy is awesome. I know Rocky wants this guy, so there you go. That's one. The second mini you could win, we unveiled this on Sunday stream, is this Obliterator. Now I appreciate it's just an Obliterator. You're doing Ragnar there, and this is just an Obliterator. Well, hang on. You still can't buy these guys. You still can't buy these unless you buy like the half Shadow Spear start collecting. 65 quid. You only want a unit of 3 ever. You've got 2 already. 65 quid for 1 more of these. Fuck off. So, you could win this. We're painting the Chaos Legion of your choice. We'll even paint it the Loyalist Legion. We'll even paint it bright pink if you want. Not Slanesh pink, obviously, because that's a Legion. But, you know, different pink. that pink, electric pink. Could be anything you want. Anything you want. We've also got the coolest one, and he's even got detachable arms because I want to make painting it easy, and even this bit comes off so I can paint his face. We've sub-assemblies it away. Herr Salcero! Dude, thank you very much for the cheers. Oh, and you're now Stream Boss. And then finally, if you don't fancy either of those two things, there's always the option to gamble it on the contents of the mystery box. Now, the mystery box contains a miniature that has been on my shelves or in the drawers of shame. There are limited edition Space Marine Terminator Captains. There's a limited edition, I think this, no, that's a Sanctus. Is this Amalus, or is he might be up there somewhere? He's up there. You can't see him on screen. He's just above this line. Lieutenant Amalus is there. We've got the Conquest minis that were limited edition. We've got Warcry stuff. We've got Warhammer Underworld stuff. We've got 40k stuff. Sigma stuff. Blood Bowl stuff. Could be anything in this box. And therein lies the gamble. It could be anything in here. It could just be a bit of scenery. Could be a scenic base. Could be a grot. And not Makari, because that's cool. Could be a grot. No one knows what's in this box except me. Even my housemate doesn't know what's in this box. He just knows because I told him he'd like the box. And when he said, what's in the mystery box? I told him it was a mystery, and he was very unimpressed by this. So, it's not going to be a bit of a sprue, because they said it would be a mini. So it's not just going to be like some plastic offcuts. That's bullshit. Nobody... No, that's not a prize. That's no good to anyone. But you could choose the mystery box. So that's what's going on. Exclamation point base to vote for the basing scheme we're going to use for our Judicia and our Scorpec Lord. Currently, we'll do the results in a sec, but the choice you've got is Snow and Ice, Jungle, Mars Red Sand, Yellow Desert, Rocky Mountains, Lava, Demon World, who knows what that could be, Marshland, Urban Jungle, Imperial Palace Marble. Kind of liking the sound of that one. What have we got so far? Ooh. So close in at the top, Rocky Mountains and Urban Jungle, neck and neck. Snow and Ice and Imperial Palace Marble in joint second place. And everything else with one vote. But Jungle, no one wants a Jungle? Wow. I mean, damn, right? Jungle is not massive. So currently, this is what we got. If you want to vote, exclamation point base, go vote. If you want to see a particular basing tutorial done, it's going to be done in that weekend on stream. Go and choose that one. If you're looking at an army, you think, I'd like to see Jay do some lava bases. Go vote for lava bases. Maybe you can use that. Follow that link. Go vote. Oh, there we go. Urban Jungle. Getting up there now. But right now, let's go to Discord. Let's do the Whippity McWhip Whip. So this was today at lunch. This was today on stream. Zero Spades. Today and yesterday's whip on the Headsman. Really love this blue scheme I got down. So this one. Nice. Okay. Difficult to see. So I'm going to jump to the next one though. Because that's a little bit overexposed in places. Let's check this dude out. Getting some detail in there now. Still a little overexposed, but we can see a lot more of it. Oh, sweaty hand. Definitely a whip, but you can start to see the shape of it. Now that skull on the shoulder pad I'm really loving because he actually carved into the shoulder to put that skull onto. What a boss. I'm liking it so far, dude. What's going in the other hand? That's the chain glaive that you've converted up, right? Excuse me. It's good though, man. Keep it going. Keep us updated. Right, Sayek. Main bulk of my Death Guard army getting finished up. Here we go. So, there is 3 PBCs and oh my, a big fat boy unit of Terminators. Oh yes. So first things first, in 8th, those Terminators are legit. Sorry, 9th. In 9th, those Terminators are legit. They just soak up damage so well. So then with the Plague Surgeon for reroll 1s and 2s for disgusting resilience and stuff, they're just going to stand there. You're going to really, really enjoy using those. PBCs are awesome. The flails are good. Yeah, the flails are very good. Especially against 1 wound minis. Nice, mate. Keep us updated on the status of those Terminators. Looking forward to seeing these. Mr. D, faces. Okay, it's not that many. So. I really like this bit right here, this white bit. You've done great on that. This is Damien, who is a Golden Demon winner. And is clearly a bit shit. I mean, this is a terrible face. Great work, mate. As always. Getting the eyes, that's always tough. Always tough. I see you've even managed to do a slightly manky eye for him on the one with the scar through it, same as we did, but we did just a clouded over look to it. Very nice skin tones. Somewhat yellowish on there. We talked about that earlier on. Yellow is definitely a colour that belongs on a lot of faces, so good work. Check out this dude. Oh, he's got a cool ass bionic eye. Is this a normal 40k face? Or is this a custom job? If you look there, you can see he's got the teeth. He's got elements of a little bit of purple in and around the eye. We talked about that earlier on. We used purple with what we did. It's from Hellblasters. You've given it hair, haven't you? Because it's... Is it bold in the Hellblasters box? No. Oh, okay. Cool. But he's got some molten flesh going there at the sides of the head. Very nasty. This one I think is my favourite. So, that's a beautiful skin tone. And if you look in there, you've got plenty of that red, all in here, all in around the eyes, a little bit right at the very bottom of his face where his jawline meets. Got a nice bright white scar. It's an old scar. Rather than the fresh scar we've gone for on Ragnar, and you can tell it had to be fresh because it was split open. It's a healed over scar, that ugly, bumpy flesh texture. It's got a cool haircut as well. I like this. You can also see loads of that red in and around like the plugs on his head and things like that as well. So that's another really cool bit. And then the last one, Hazard Stripes, mostly purple. Lots of purple, blended right up to white. Got that pink going on. But again, another really, really awesome eye. Oh, it's very good, mate. It's very good. I can't fault you. You are definitely a better painter than I am. This is a fact. Especially when it comes to painting things like faces and your freehand. I can't fault you for that at all. But you get a lot more work painting faces than I do. Because all my Marines wear helmets. So, you know. Very cool. Very Darth Vader unmasked. See, I might not watch Star Wars, but I know that one. It's good, dude. Very good. Right, let's go to somebody that can, you know, we can maybe offer some critique on, possibly, because I got nothing on those, you know. Cell Virus, I got nothing on these either. These are cool. We saw these last time. You were just getting the bases, just trying to work out how you wanted to do the bases. I remember these. Getting them dirt tracks put in there as well. You'd had oh, when are you going to Nottingham? But definitely, yeah, pop by. I do pizza on a Friday night. That's the only night, though. Looking awesome, though, mate. You could maybe do a little bit of battle damage on the armor panels to make it sort of fit in with that usual kind of rustic orc theme. But I love them, mate. I really like them. They're super cool. They're awesome minis as well. That really helps. Like, there you go, close-in shot on there. You see all the pigment in and around the wheels, caked on the base. Really good choice against the blue. The blue stands out from it a mile. I think the orc skin you could probably do a bit more work on, if I'm honest, dude. Because that looks like it might have been contrast orc. So that's the only thing there that I'm a little bit... Yeah. Everything else is really crisp and really clean, and then you've got the orc skin, which is a little bit splotchy. Was it contrast orc? Dude, we've just painted a face. All those flesh tones built up. Yeah, you can do a much, much, much simpler green version of that on those. Give it a shot. Practice on something outside the vehicle first. I'm sure if you're doing an orc army, you've got a grot or two lying around, you can give it a go on, but give that a shot. And then apply it to your vehicles. Looking good though, man. Honestly, I love them. I think they're really, really, really smart. Apart from a contrast orc. Nice work, Chief. Nice work. Right, Voodoo Yaz. Think this got missed a few streams ago, so reposting for feedback. Went for rule of cool for colours. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we saw it actually. So overall, it's really good. I like the fact that you've not gone just pure white all over. I really like the fact you've got in the darker armor and stuff like that. That's really nice. Things that immediately jump out to me. The recessed shade you've got on the shoulder pad that's holding the bolt gun arm, that's a bit thick. So just take a bit more of the colour you use to the shoulder pad and just paint it over that line and just thin it out a little, essentially. And if you glaze it on, you'll be no issues. Speaking of glazes, you could do another couple on that weird syringe arm he's got above him. The yellow and the green, from the photo at least, they're just two colours almost next to each other rather than having that progression through it, right? For the eye lenses, if I've got a fucking paint eye, so have you. For the eye lenses, you can do a little bit more work there. Just if you put in a darker line just at the top of it, and if you go from... So you've basically got a mid-tone down there, right? So if you paint from like the inside of the eye towards the back of the eye, a dark lens, you'll have more of a brighter lens on the front. Or you can do it the other way around and have the brighter point here and a darker point there. It's up to you which way around you do it. Once you've done that, then apply a tiny dot of white, just bink, in there on that lens. That's easier to do than a bloody pupil, I promise you. I absolutely promise you. So you've got to do one dot, not three, all in exactly the right position. But you could do that, and then you get an eye lens that looks a little bit more realistic. But those are the only things that I'd give the change. You know, everything else is just a case of spend more time with the brush and like keep refining your technique, so your highlights are a little crisper, your recessed shades are a little bit slimmer, that sort of thing. Keep it going though, dude. Liking the work you're putting out. One more thing. I'm only going to say this because we talk about this a lot on streams here when we're doing basing, any kind of basing. We talk about making sure that what's on the base looks like it belongs in the base and hasn't been placed on top of the base. So you know what I'm going to say next. The dude that's buried is very, very clean for someone that's landed heavily on the floor and been covered in shite. Her Salcero gifting a sub. Dude. Let me give headers, his meeps. That's very kind of you, though, man. There you go, mate. You now have additional meeps, which you can use, exclamation point win in the chat, at the end of the month stream on the 30th to try and win that £50 hobby voucher. But yeah, get some pigments out on this guy. Match the base colour to a pigment, so start getting them down, worked into the base, and then get a little bit of them over the fallen dude he's got there, the rubble on the base, a little bit around the dude's boots, and so on and so forth. Yeah, make it all belong together and come together as one, rather than it being a thing that is placed on a base that has some stuff painted on. Rocky Balboa, criticise away, Jay. Firstly, you've got lady fingers. There you go. I said it. Let me get into the big view, because from that little photo it looked a little bit grey plastic rather than, or else I knew that wouldn't be right. There's not a lot to critique here, mate, really. There's not much that's sort of happened. Don't really know what to say. You've got grey. Ta-da! It's grey. That's all I got, mate. Sorry. There's not a lot for me to start moving in on. Although, what is this black shoulder pad? It looks like the paint's peeling from around the edge. Is that right or not? But do some work. That's the critique you get there. Do some fucking work. And then last one, JC. Oh, that's a creepy face. That is a very creepy face. Nice conversion. I like the fact the little servo skull's properly on a jolly like this. The face is fucking weird, dude. Like, really unnerving weird. So, very grimdark. I love that. I love that. He's cool, man. I see what you're going for. You'll take on the Daedalus. Yeah. So you've got the Auspex scanner. You've got the weird gun he's got. You've got his little... the claw going on. Yeah. It's good. That face is fucking odd. Yeah. For some reason, it reminds me of the... yes, there's that, actually. There's that. But what it reminds me... and it's mostly because of the colour it's in right now. For anyone that watched Doctor Who and remembers the fucking angels that move when you're not looking at them, that's what this reminds me of. And those things are fucking scary. Just like, no, 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 fuck no, no, bad. Those. That's what that looks like. And actually, so this guy's unnerving as fuck. Don't look at it. Yeah, but look at it. But don't look at it. But look at it. But don't look at it for too long. But if you look at it for a little bit... oh, they shit me right up, those things. Right. So, tonight we did Ragnar. Not this bit. This tiny bit. This was all we did was one... tiny... oh, that's where it comes back. If the camera's used. So, there we go. Let's get Raggy in that little box. Nicely framed. We did a face. We did the thing. Now, between now and next stream, I'm going to try and get everything else painted. So next stream we can work on the base and finish this dude off entirely. That's the plan. What we're going to do now, though, and I forgot to load this up in advance. So shit, give me 1 second. Oh, bad J. Bad J. Log in. We're going to try one more time before we raid to close the stream properly. This may or may not work. Where's the widgets button? I've been trying to get this for a bit. This is not what... here we go, here we go. So hopefully this will work. I'm going to go and raid somebody now. I'll sort it out while we're doing this. And hopefully, here we go. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you on Thursday.